Hello, and a warm welcome to Living the Dream French Riviera podcast. In this series, we share the inspiring stories of women who relocated to the south of France, reinvented their lives, and built meaningful careers. Each episode explores their professional journeys with all the challenges, surprises, and triumphs along the way. I'm your host, Cécile Connet. Today I'm joined by Valentina. Her story is a powerful reminder that a first attempt doesn't always tell the full story of relocation. The first time she moved to the south of France, things didn't exactly fall into place. Between the traffic and the lack of a fulfilling career, she eventually returned to Italy. But when she came back, the Riviera revealed a very different side. This time, she was able to work, settled in a new area, and embraced life in this iconic region. And then, quite unexpectedly, helping one student find a university became the foundation of her business. Valentina's journey shows how relocation can unfold in surprising ways and how the unexpected can lead to something truly meaningful. Valentina, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm looking forward to hearing your story from your Italian roots to life here on the Riviera and how your personal journey eventually led you to create your own business. Let's begin by setting the scene. When did you first arrive in the south of France? Where were you coming from? And what was life like at the time?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. So I came here in the south of France in 2015. My husband was here already. He had been here for 2 years already. He's in the yachting industry. We have 3 kids, and when our second one left the house to go and do her exchange in the US and then leave for university, it was just me and the little one left, and we decided to just rejoin with my husband and come here in France. So at the time I was 44, 45, and I was a math and science teacher in middle school in Italy. And I was actually looking for a job here as a teacher, which wasn't easy to find at the beginning. And this is why I started by selling Italian goods, the Prosecco and other Italian goods. But it was kind of like a second choice. And then I did some tutoring, and that's how I started.
And did you speak any French at the time?
No French at all.
That's what made it quite difficult to find a teaching.
Well, there's a big international community here. I remember going to French lessons and meeting so many expats that had been living on the Riviera for 20 years without even approaching any French lessons because there's no need. Many people feel that there's no need, so you can get along without French, but I don't think it's the right thing to do. When you go to a country, you need to get into the culture, and knowing the language is a big part of it.
And how did you picture your life before the move? What did you expect?
I wasn't expecting anything really. I just wanted to be back with my husband and have a family. It had been hard to be on my own with 3 kids in Italy, so I was looking forward to be back together.
So you arrive in France, you're looking for a teaching job that you can't find, so you take a second choice, you sell Italian goods. Did you enjoy this part?
Well, I enjoyed doing the fairs. That was really great fun. I hated it to go around to look for clients. That wasn't my thing at all. So I was really looking forward to go back to my old job. And that's when I started tutoring. And this was my first step towards teaching. After 3 years we were here, though we were in Antibes at the time, I wasn't liking it that much. Basically because first of all, the traffic was horrible. We were living in Antibes. My daughter's school was in Sofia. The gym was in Valerie, and then the doctor was in Nice. I was in the car all the time, and the traffic was horrible. And it wasn't that sustainable economically as well. So my daughter and I decided to go back for a year in Italy. But then she got into dancing. She was very good at it. And here there are very good dancing schools, so we decided to come back. And this time we went to Nice, and that's where I fell in love with the French Riviera.
So you look on a map, and all these small towns, Valoris, Mougins, Antibes, Sophia Antipolis, they look very close by, but in reality They're not.
They're not, but the feeling is that it's like a whole big city from Menton to Cannes. Everybody knows each other. It's like a big village, though everybody's so spread out. It's quite peculiar, I think.
So when you come back, you're in Nice, much happier with you supporting your daughter into dancing. What's your line of work? Do you go back tutoring, selling Italian products?
Well, when I was in Antibes, I sent out some curricula. So when I was in Italy, I actually had someone reach out. So when I came back in Nice, I already had a job waiting for me. So I was hired as a teacher in a school in Sofia. I was finally teaching again.
Incredible. Everything was happening at the same time. It was meant to be.
Yeah.
So you go back to teaching, you happily teach again after a break of 4 years teaching?
Yeah, kind of.
And that was your happy place?
No, 3 years, because when I went back to Italy, I went back teaching there as well. But yeah, I was back teaching, and while I was teaching, I had one of my ex-students at the time that was approaching university, and he reached out because we were friends by that time. I was his teacher in middle school, so we became friends. And he reached out because he knew my kids had been going abroad. My 2 elder kids, they both did an exchange year in high school in the US, and then one of them came back in Europe and started university first in Paris, then in the Netherlands, and the other one actually went there for an exchange of 1 year, and she ended up staying there 10 years in the US. So he knew my kids went to university abroad, and he wanted to go abroad, and he asked me for help. And while I was helping, his mother told me, you know what, you should do this as a job. So she put the little seed in my brain that started growing, and then COVID hit, and I had time. I signed up to some programs at the University of California, San Diego, and I got some certificates, and that's where it all started.
What did you learn from those?
I learned the basis of how this job works, though it was very US-centered. But it gave me 2 big opportunities. The first one was the teacher I had vouched for me to enter the IECA Association, which is an association of independent educational consultants. And it gave me loads of connections and networking. The second opportunity was, part of the certificate was to interview someone that was doing this job already. So I reached out to an Italian educational consultant, and she kind of became my mentor. From then onwards, I started traveling with the IECA members. Specifically, there's a very big and very collaborative group of consultants that come from all over the world, but they all work sending students to Europe. And we started traveling together. We organize symposium every year. This year it will be in Paris. And we kind of became friends. We organize trips together to just go and visit universities. Next month I'm touring Germany. I just came back from Rome. May I was touring Ireland universities.
So you're part of this group, this organization. It gives you opportunities on both sides. Universities give you credits because you're part of it, and also parents put their trust in you because you're part of it?
Parents trust me because being part of this association and another one I'm part of, which is the International ACAC, it's an ethical guarantee in the sense that I'm not an agent. All the education consultants are not agents, which mean that we don't sign any contract with universities. So when we send a student to a certain university, we're not getting money from the university. Our only clients are the students and the family. When we decide that a university is a good fit for a student, and we suggest that university, is truly because we think it's a good fit.
You don't get any commission or any...
We don't have any commission from the university. So this is what agents do. Okay, so they sign contracts, and many times They get money from the university and from the families. We don't think it's a very ethical way of working. We really truly concentrate on our students. And so this is a guarantee for the family. For the universities here in Europe, it's important because the job of the professional figure of an educational consultant is not well known. So universities don't really understand what we are and why we're approaching them. Some universities and in some countries especially, yes. But some others, like in France, they're kind of, so why do you want to come here? What do you want from us? What? Why are you contacting us? So we give them, all our papers, all our documentation, telling them who we are, what we do, and then they understand that we are there to just get to know the university, the programs they offer, and so that we can spread out the word and tell our students, there's that university down there that might be a good fit for you.
Your qualifications come from California, and this organization is international. Who are your clients?
Living in the south of France gave me the opportunity to reach out to a lot of my students. Usually are English speaking, or at least they speak English. They don't necessarily come from an English country, but they speak good English. If you want to go to study internationally, you need to look for English taught programs. So in the French Riviera, my clients are students that come from all over the place but live here. But this helped me also reach out, because basically I get my clients from word of mouth. So who has worked with me then tells a friend or somebody else or a relative saying, there's this lady that works and helped out my child. So I actually got clients from all over the world. I got clients from the US, from Dubai, from Africa. People are coming from all over Europe. And then my other big, pool, thank you, is obviously Italy and Trieste. I work with a school there. I also work with a school here in the south of France as the college counselor of the school, which is a little bit different than being an educational consultant, because I work generally with the students. Well, an educational consultant has a one-on-one kind of relation. And instead in Italy, I collaborate with the school in the sense that they promote me, they tell their parents that I exist, and if anybody needs this kind of service, they can contact me. So I get a lot of students there as well.
Do many people in the south of France or in Trieste in Italy, where you're from, do the same thing, or are you quite unique?
No. It's very uncommon, both here and there. In fact, the biggest difficulty I had at the beginning is explaining what I do and why somebody should hire me. Because it's true that everything I do, you can do on your own. But what I give is that I give my knowledge and expertise. So I have already visited a bunch of universities. I have already worked with a lot of students, and I know how things work, and I can point you directly already, quickly to a university that might have the program you're looking for. And there's all that research that it's so much time consuming. If you don't know where to look, you don't find things. This is basically. Plus, obviously, by working with universities for years and years, then what happens is that I have people in specific universities I know I can reach out to. And so if there's any problem, I can contact them and say, hey, I have this student, we are having this problem. Can you solve it? Or can you tell me what I should do? And another thing, I told you I'm part of these associations. So we have these big WhatsApp groups, big networking. If I have any doubts or I'm looking for an information I myself don't have, I can go in my chat and say, is there anybody who has heard of this program or has an experience in this program or a student in this program? Can you tell me? Can you give me some feedback? or at the same time, if I have a student that is asking, because I kind of specialize in Europe, but if I have somebody coming asking for the US or for Australia, I mean, I can find information, but if I don't feel comfortable, I can reach out to some of my clients saying, I have this student looking for this. I'm not an expert here. Is there anybody that wants to start working with this student? And I can just pass it on.
So it's a very collaborative
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I work alone at home. I don't feel alone at all. This phone is always buzzing. And there's always conversations going on, and yeah.
I have a friend whose daughter just started this year, and she's American, living in France, and she had, because her daughter is not a stellar A-star student, she really had difficulty to understand how, because of the marking system also in France, where her daughter standed, because she was used to the grades in the United States and she didn't understand. Is this something that, with your knowledge,
absolutely,
you understand if this child is schooled in this country, where does he stands and which university?
I've worked with students that came out of American high schools with or without APs, IB diploma, French back, Italian maturità, A levels, and I usually juggle quite well now. I mean, I've learned. So yeah, and that's also why somebody should hire an educational consultant, because it's not always easy.
There's something I wanted to ask you, because as you said, this is something that all of us can do, in the sense that we can find the information, but I can see what parents do, having been through this myself very recently. Parents look at rankings. Can you tell us that not maybe necessarily every excellent university is the most prestigious on paper, and how do you explain this to parents?
Yeah, rankings are kind of a problem for us. First of all, it's important to understand that how rankings are made, okay? So first of all, rankings can be made comparing certain things about the university, so student satisfaction, employability. So you need to understand what those universities are ranked on. Second of all, not all universities are in the rankings. You have to get in the rankings before being ranked. Okay, so there's also this. Thirdly, and this is sometimes the most difficult part to explain to families, you need to know who your child is, and maybe even if this is a top-ranked school, maybe he's not a good fit for it. You want to have a child that thrives at school and at university. So let's say we have a very good student who wants to go to Harvard, okay? And he might stand a chance, but maybe he doesn't fit in Harvard. Maybe that's not the kind of school he feels comfortable in. Maybe he's looking for a smaller school. Maybe he's looking for a lower paced school. Maybe he needs some other kind of environment, or the other way around. So we have people thinking their child should go, especially in Europe, because we're not used to pay a lot, universities. They say, well, if I have to go to I have to send him to the UK, then I want the top schools. Okay, but your child is not a top school child. His grades are not in that range. So there's a lot of things we have to understand. I'm always on the part of the student, and I tell this to parents. I'm sorry, I'm here for your child. So we can look at rankings, but then we have to understand the reality, who we have here, and will they fit there?
That must be something difficult. Sometimes parents expect things for their children, and the child not necessarily want this. How? Yeah.
Yes.
Diplomacy.
It happens. You know what? Diplomacy to a certain extent. Then I have to go to the point and tell them. So I can't, walk around it too much, tiptoe around it too much. I have to tell them, Either it's sometimes, you know, they want their child to study medicine, but they don't want to, and they don't know how to tell their parents. Or I had a mother telling me, he will be a perfect architect. I can see him being an architect. He has this sense of aesthetic and everything. And then I talked to him, and the first thing he told me was, I don't want to do architecture. So I have to tell them this. Then sometimes they think that they have like a genius in the house, and maybe he's not a genius. Maybe he'll thrive later on, which is not, I mean, it happens. Well, there's a lot of balancing and understanding, and especially if there's a lot of pressure from the families on the child, I try to, you know, make the student comfortable, and I'll take the pressure off them, and I'll deal with it with the parents. That I feel that's part of my job as well. And also, one of the things I always tell the families in general, because sometimes it's the opposite. Sometimes the families are more like, okay, you don't need to go to Harvard, and the students are like, no. Sometimes it's them being very ambitious and not understanding the situation, maybe of their grades or whatever. So I need to tell them that it's really not where you take your diploma, your degree. Sorry, not the diploma. It's not where you get your diploma, it's what you do with it. So I have numerous examples of people with degrees got in anonymous universities that had great success. And so it's what you do, and the opposite, you know, it's what you do with it. And sometimes it's also, okay, I'm the ones helping them transition from high school to university to bachelor. Often there's another step later on. So maybe you should take it easy on the first step, and then, you know, build up things and then go to a strong master's degree.
Build up confidence, and also sometimes some children won't have their grades won't be so good in high school because of the grading system, but they will thrive at uni because it's graded in a very different way.
In a different way, yes. And you need to understand if they are more academic or they prefer more a hands-on approach. And you need to, you know, there are some universities or some countries that have a very fast pace. Some other will grade you more on projects and other kinds of things. So you need to understand lots of things.
So you're hired by parents, but in a way, but in fact your client is the child. So your client is not the one who's paying, in a way.
No, exactly. So when I market the parents, but then I work with the students. Yeah.
So your business is global, but you live in France. So I'd like to go back to France a little bit. So you were tutoring already, so I imagine you already had a French status allowing you to tutor. But when you started your company here, how did it happen?
Well, it's quite easy to open a micro-entreprise here in France. I think it was a week or less of not even paperwork, things you did online. So that was quite easy, as long as you tell them in what kind of services you're going to deliver. And it was the same, for teaching and for what I'm doing. It all falls in the same basket. So that was kind of easy. It became more difficult when things started growing, because I started traveling a lot, and traveling meant lots of expenses that I couldn't declare, so I had to pass to another kind of
of status.
Yes,
and
status.
Needed, all of a sudden you needed an accountant, and so you were able to claim your expenses and claim all this that you couldn't do with the Simplify. So we could say that starting a business administratively is quite easy. It's like growing it up that makes it a little bit more tricky.
Yes, and then there's TBA that is kind of I read yesterday or today that they're going back to the lower TVA, which is kind of a big problem for many people. So I mean, taxes, following all the tax situation in France, I mean, I can't complain. I come from Italy. Italy is the same, if not worse. So
yeah, that was my next question. Being Italian helps you
Well, it helped me in the sense that I wasn't expecting any less. Then obviously you need to follow the specific rules. So that was always, it's complicated in Italy for me as well. I mean, I don't speak that language.
Yeah. And by the time your French had improved and you could speak,
I always need some. As I told you, even in Italy, as an Italian, I still don't understand everything. So it's just the kind. I think I have some kind of rejection towards these kind of things. So I read them and I say, I don't know if I understood what I should do here. Do I fall in this category? Do I fall in this? I have no clue. So I always need someone that can help me with that.
Was it easy to find somebody who could advise you?
Yes, I was lucky enough to have a client that was dealing with this kind. The mother was actually doing this kind of thing, so she was kind of an accountant, and she helped me.
She offered a service.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
How do you decide how much you charge parents? And
that was a big problem at the beginning. I was afraid, like everybody, to charge too much, but then I realized that I couldn't charge too little either. And so it took a little bit of trial and errors and different ways. I was charging for the hour, then for the service, then I had all sorts. I broke down by country, how many countries do you want me to explore? And then at the end, I made it just simple. I have 3 packages plus 1. And I kind of figure out how many hours I do in average, which means that sometimes I work very fast for someone, but sometimes it takes me a lot of work for some others, so they kind of average out. Now my prices are on my website. I tell everybody to look at my website before reaching out, just to avoid the embarrassment of talking about money and having the client say, oh, I'm sorry, I can't afford this. When somebody reaches out, I know it's somebody that is ready to sign. It was hard at the beginning to acknowledge how much I'm worth. And knowing how much time I spend in forming myself with webinars and conferences and symposiums and travels and visits and everything. I mean, there's a lot I do to be informed all the time. And so I'm confident with my pricing.
I imagine a lot of your work is invisible.
Oh yes, lots of it. I mean, somebody hires me and I do a list of universities, and then I tell the student, now go and search them. I mean, you need to, because obviously when I give a list of universities, then it's the student that has to search them out, because they have to get a feeling of what the programs are and what the university is, because they have to make the choice, the final choice. I'm not making the final choice for them. And so I understand that it looks like I'm doing nothing. But if those universities are on that list, is because I know them, because not all of them. Obviously, I can't know all the universities in Europe, but I keep traveling, I keep going and visit new universities, so I'm growing my knowledge, my first-hand knowledge of universities. And as I said, if I don't have a first-hand knowledge, I have people I can ask, and I know the systems of each country, and I know, and I have contacts and everything. I've been organizing university fairs the past 2 years, so I mean, I do a lot of invisible work.
Every relocation and every business journey teaches us something, so I'd like to hear how it is for you. Looking back, what do you wish you had known before making the move?
Well, because we're talking about France, it's the traffic. This part of it. I mean, if we're relating to my job, I wasn't aware I was going to transition to this kind of job, so I didn't know anything about that. Other than that, really, I was very open-minded when I came here. I mean, I was ready for everything.
Anything you do differently, knowing what you know now?
Well, obviously, I'm more confident with the language, and this helps a lot. In all sorts of ways, I can talk with anybody now, go to offices and talk. So that's really something that helped a lot. I kind of have a double life in the sense that I live half here, half in Italy. I keep going back and forth to Italy because I have my clients there, because I have my family, and yes, so I'm often there as well. So I kind of switch here and there. I like coming back here mainly because when I'm there, all my roots are there, and this means also that all my ties are there. And when I come back here, I feel free from everything. So when I'm there, I know everybody's calling. How are you doing? Can we see each other? So when I come here, they stop calling because, oh, she's in France. So, I feel more free here to be myself and do what I want.
How are you perceived when you visit French university, this Italian woman who lives in France and who's inquiring for international students? They must look at you.
Well, when I'm alone, they are fascinated. When we come as a group, because we often, as I told you, we travel as a group, we all come from all over the places, and many of us are not living where they actually come from, and so they quickly get used to a very international group, and they understand. We target universities that have English taught programs, so their aim is to grow internationally. So when they understand this, they're actually very happy to have us.
Was there a defining moment when you felt proud of your relocation journey? Yes, I've made it moment.
Well, it started very slow, as I told you. My first year I had one client. And then the second year I had 3, one of which was my daughter. And ever since, it grew exponentially. So I can say now I'm almost at capacity. So I'd say that I switched to that maybe a year and a half ago. And I finally said, okay, now I have a decent number of students. I can earn enough money to have enough income to, at least pay my side of the bargain in the family. What is important for me is to not have big numbers of students, because obviously it's a very customized and bespoken service. So I need the time to take care of each one of my students. I can't have a bulk of students. I have to cap them at a certain number.
Was there any moment you thought of giving up with the first year?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. The first 3 years, I was on one side, I was trying to build a business. I participated to so many webinars and meetings and everything, so to learn how to market, how to all those things that had nothing to do with what I was supposed to do, but was about building a business. So I feel like I have now a marketing bachelor degree, even without going to university for that. And on the other side, I was looking for another job, for a side job, because I was saying I'll never gonna make it if it keeps going like this. And then at a certain point it clicked, and finally things started to turn, and now I'm happy. I'm full-time.
Is it when you're ready to give up that you shouldn't be giving up? Yeah.
Yes. I actually had a friend start her business the moment I finally clicked in, and I remember following her through the first steps, and she was ready to give up, and I was saying, hold on. Hold on. And now she's happy.
Wonderful. Do you see France as your forever home?
I think it's not my forever home. It's a place I like to keep, and as a runaway place, but roots and everything. Home is Italy. So I'm still 100% Italian.
Before we wrap up, I'd love to go quickly and hear what's your take on daily life here on the Riviera. I know we don't have much time left. Is life on the Riviera as glamorous as people imagine?
I think it can be. I'm not that kind of person. So I said I fell in love with the area when I moved to Nice. And the reason is that I think Nice is big enough to have its own personality. So I bet you can have all the luxury and glamour of the Riviera, but you can also have a very normal life with normal people. Normal in the sense of not necessarily looking for, you know, the luxurious side of the Riviera, the nights out, and I like the quiet, you know, dinners with friends, and so I'm not very glamorous. I'm sorry.
Very, very quickly, because I know we're out of time. Shall we mention housing?
Oh, housing. Okay, well, housing, I think it's very different depending on what you're looking for. So I would know only about what I'm looking for, and I have always looked for apartments, so not big villas or anything. And living with dogs, big dogs, I always had the necessity of being a little bit in the outskirts. So find either an apartment that is next to a park or a forest, or ideally with its own garden. I was lucky enough to find twice this situation in Nice, but it's not easy. And then there's the dossier problem. And this is something we had a big problem with because my husband is in the yachting industry, and he's working mainly in Monaco, so he doesn't have a French contract. I'm self-employed, and we have dogs. That's also something. So we kind of had this kind of problem. And then I must say we always overcame these problems when we met the people, the owners of the house. When meeting the owners, I must say we always got the apartment we were looking for, we set our eyes on. They kind of liked us. We were happy.
You're very likable people.
Apparently so.
How do you see the Riviera evolving in terms of community and opportunities and business?
Well, I think the Riviera is a place where you have lots of opportunities, and if you have a good idea, you can thrive. I feel there's a lot, maybe too many people in certain sectors, coaching, yoga, all of that. So I don't know how easy it is to start a business in that area. But if you have an original idea, I think this is a place where you can easily start a business.
Wonderful. Valentina, thank you so much for sharing your journey with us today. It's been a pleasure to hear how you transformed both personal experience and professional insight into a business, and how you continue to build your life here on the Riviera and globally.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Valentina's stories is such a powerful example of resilience, proof that even if a first move abroad doesn't work out, the second might just change everything. By embracing teaching, finding joy in her Riviera life, and turning a chance request into a thriving business, she's shown how relocation can bring the unexpected. You can find more about Valentina and other inspiring women building meaningful lives on the Riviera on our website, livingthedreampodcast.com. And if you'd like to support my work, you'll also find a link there to help me keep creating new episodes of Living the Dream. A heartfelt thank you to Claire Long, whose music adds warmth and emotion to every episode. I'm Cécile Liconnet, and this has been Living the Dream French Riviera podcast. À bientôt!